Okay, part two of Thursday at the Cinder Wallaby PTG. And we continue Gorka Day with another topic from Gorka about availability zone and volume types for backup restores. Give me a second to put this into the. I don't know how many people are paying attention to the PTG bot, but I will update it. Okay, Gorka.
Yep. So, okay, the next one it's availability zone. So the thing is that we had a mechanism in Cinder to create the backup and restore. When you are going to restore a backup, our backup API does not allow you to specify anything about the volume you're restoring to. So you can either restore to a volume with the default type, or you can restore to a pre-existing volume. Those are the options to restore a backup to. But our create volume from backup, which is a different API altogether, which is the normal create volume API, allows you to do anything you want. So, for example, you can create a volume, empty volume, volume from a snapshot, volume from another volume, or volume from backup. Going through the normal create API and specifying a backup ID as your source, you can define availability zone, you can define volume type. There are lots of things you can define, but you cannot do that in the backup API. If you say, okay, I want to do restore a backup, you go to your client, you Cinder restore, give me the help, and you don't have a way to define the volume type or the availability zone. That is currently the situation. So if you know every single Cinder command and option, you know, okay, this operation does not go through the backup API, it goes through the create, where I can do everything I want. The thing is that we had a spec up there to add this to the backup service, but to the backup API. But instead of killing that spec and saying, nope, we'll never do this because now it has to be done through the create operation, we left it there, and somebody has actually proposed an implementation that adds these parameters to the backup API. So I would like to have a discussion on what we should do about this. I think I wrote a couple of options there about accepting or rejecting and the alternatives. So basically, as I see it, if we accept this option, we will have two different paths to restore a backup. We will, with volume types and availability zones. One is through the backup API, another is through the create volume API. And of course, new code means possibly new bugs. But then again, we already have two different paths. It's not like we are adding a new path. It's we are basically improving it. And I feel bad about somebody actually contributing code and us saying, nope, we're not going to accept it. If we reject it, which I don't like, we could make the Cinder client accept those parameters into the backup command. So you would say Cinder backup, and provide a volume type and availability zone. And what the Cinder client would do behind the scenes when it has volume type or availability zone, it could go to the create volume API instead of going to the backup restore API. So as I said, those are our two options. Maybe there are more. So I would like to have, instead of having this discussion on IRC, which we could have had, I think it's best face-to-face in this, or virtually face-to-face, to have a proper discussion. So I would like to hear people's opinions on this.
I have an opinion, but I want to get the API for the volume create linked also.
I added there, the micro version is 347.
Right. Where? Lost my.
And of course, I forgot to say a key here that you have to specify the backup ID. I think it's like that.
And then
So Gurkha, what you're proposing is adding new parameters to the backup restore API and redirecting that flow to volume create API that we can currently do with 3.47 micro version.
Yep, the proposal is to add them to the backup API. Yep.
it looks like this blueprint was from pre-spec days.
In 2016, that was a lifetime ago.
Seems like it was 40 years ago. Yeah, so I agree that we want to avoid douche moves. So that's, I agree with that. But I don't like having two ways to do it. So it seems like
The thing is that we currently already have two ways. That's
well,
the thing.
except, right, it seems like you can make an argument that doing a backup restore means that what you're going to get is exactly like what you used to have. And that if you want to have something that has the same data but is like in a different zone or different volume type, then what you should do is actually create a volume of that type.
Though the argument is not completely valid because we can do cross AC backups and we are not restoring to the original AC nor to the original volume type. We are restoring to the default AC or the AC from the default volume type. we just say, whatever, just restore this to a volume. I don't care where it is. So the argument is not completely valid.
So basically, so the situation though, to understand, is that if you do the create API, you can do whatever it is that you want. So we've got all the functionality there. Okay.
But currently people don't know, or many people don't know that they can do it.
Yeah.
Me included until, so I don't know how I blanked this information. A while ago, this was added. I knew it. I forgot about it. And when somebody asked me about it, I said, oh, you have to first manually create a volume in the availability zone and then restore to that volume. That was my great solution. And then I realized that you can do the create through the create API because I was looking at the backup. Yeah.
Right.
In any case, we should have this command in the client. Now it's whether we add a new API. Well, we improve. We add a new microversion to the backup API, or we redirect that command to the create.
So, but this patch that it would be a douche move to reject is the API, not the client, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, because I agree about the client, I think it makes, well, I may have non-standard views about this, but I think it would make sense for the client to put this, under the hood, it would use the create, but you would group it with the backup commands to make it easy to find to do exactly what an end user wants to do.
Yeah.
Although I know some people are stronger about there should be a closer mapping between the client CLI and the API, but
I personally have no problem with that close mapping. I'm okay with remapping.
yeah, because
I'm just not too happy about rejecting somebody's contribution, but
right.
as in this is not really wrong. So yeah. So I see Brian in favor of not improving other APIs and going with the client. Any other opinions? Wake up, people! Wake up!
I think
Yeah, I mean,
I think not duplicating code paths is the better way to go always.
Okay.
Ooh, I see. So what this is going to leave us with, though, is the current backup API will have a crappy way to restore your backups.
The restore API of the backup
Is very
feature
limited.
would be kind of legacy. Like, yeah, that's not how we do it anymore, kind of thing.
So we'd have to, so we can, I could take the action we need to correct the API reference, or enhance it to point people to the preferred way to do this. Yeah, ordinarily I would say like we don't want to duplicate code paths, but since it's already partially duplicated.
And the original code path was the backup one.
Right.
But yeah.
Just thinking there, we opened up a bug from the PowerMax driver a while back asking about creating volumes from source volumes or source snapshots where the volume type differs on the new target volume. And as I said, that's just restricted. Simply you can't do that. So if you have a snapshot created from a volume type, you have to create a new volume from that same volume type. Are we creating a weird scenario now where you can create volumes from backups and specify a different volume type, but you can't create a volume from another volume and specify a different volume type?
Yep, that is correct, but it's not a weird scenario in if you think about Cinder, the drivers and everything. So when we are going through where you request a create volume from a snapshot or a clone, basically create volume from volume, usually you want something fast. And that usually entails that you are on the same array with the same in the same pool, everything is the same.
Mm-hmm.
That is why we limit it, because otherwise you have to copy data and you are using DD and 78, or you may be using DD, and that's slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
Whereas with backups, we are in a completely different storage system. So it doesn't matter where you copy, it's going to be slow anyway.
Yeah, I get you. Makes sense.
So it is true that there could be an improvement in Cinder to create a generic way to restore, to create a volume from another volume in using DD, but I don't know. Nobody has pushed too much on it.
Yeah. I think the workaround for it's fine. Just create the volume and retype if you need to. So that's perfectly acceptable.
Okay.
Does anybody else have strong opinions about this? Or any opinions?
Well, or we can leave it as an action for people to go and vote actually on the patch. If somebody has a strong opinion, it should give a -2 to the patch. Otherwise, we will assume that they are okay with it and that the code can progress. I didn't want to leave my -1 with improvements suddenly for somebody else to come and say -2 after the person has already made the changes. So,
yeah, and that makes sense.
So anybody with strong feelings, just give it a vote there and -2 it.
So Gorka, when we restore a backup and not into a volume, and we create a new volume, then also we call the create volume API, right?
Yep, correct. So the only thing that it's been added basically, it's to the call that that the backup it's already making. It's adding 2 parameters optionally. It's telling the create volume, okay, create it with this volume type or with this availability zone.
Yeah, then I think it will be a minimal impact. So good.
Okay, I think we can close this as action. Whoever is opposes this or think it's not a good idea to duplicate the code, please just go and downvote the patch or -2 the patch. We can leave it there.
What was your thought, Rajat, that you were just saying?
Yeah, so currently when we restore a backup not into a volume, like we create a new volume, then also the same flow is going on. We are just passing 2 new parameters to the same call, the volume type and the AZ. So I don't think it will be much impact on the API side. So I think it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So what you're saying is that it's really not duplicating much code. because it's calling the RPC.
Well, I think he's going about the impact into like how could we be introducing bugs into
Right.
it, and the thing is that in the backup manager we're basically adding two parameters optionally to the call to the same call we're already making.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, I think we left it the right way. So if you have a strong opinion, express it really soon so that this person doesn't make revisions and then get a -2. So, okay. All right. We got 20 people. All right. We're gonna meet with Glance in like 15 minutes. So Luigi made the suggestion that maybe we should do our team picture right now. So to do that, we have to go to MeetPad. I think make sure you mute you can have them both open. I did that yesterday, but make sure you mute everything because otherwise you start getting really weird feedback. But let's go to the hallway. We'll take our team picture and then come back here to meet with Glance. So I noticed there are 20 people, so we'll wait a few minutes to hit our critical number over on the MeetPad side before we take the screenshot. Okay, I will shut up
Where's
now.
the hallway link?
I'm sorry?
Where's the hallway link? Is that in the Etherpad?
Yeah, let me put it in a convenient place because I have to find it anyway. It's way at the top of the Etherpad.
Okay, there it is.
All right, so anybody who wants to be in the team picture, please, thanks, somebody just put it right there. And let me update the PG bot.
I log out from here and go over there because
Okay.
otherwise I get audio from both places.
Okay,
See you there.
okay. Oh, and I should stop recording because this would be kind of pointless to record. So